Hello everyone, welcome back, and man have I got a video for you all today. I'm that excited to share it with you that I'm not delaying any longer, so let's get started. Santiago. What an amazing character we got to witness in Season 2 of Interview with the Vampire. No doubt Ben Daniels' portrayal of the role was the standout performance of the season for me. Santiago just oozed charisma, presence and authority. He commanded respect whatever room he walked into. He was considered the strongest vampire in the coven, despite being the youngest of them all, only second to Armand in terms of strength. Well, that's my assumption anyway. As a matter of fact, Santiago is just referred to as the strongest directly. I'm assuming it's just under Armand as he is the maître. So that means if Santiago is indeed that powerful, then he must have powerful blood. He must have powerful blood within him, which means he was turned by a powerful vampire. Just mathing the math here, guys. Now, we don't know who Santiago's maker actually was, or is. Not much is said about him with the exception of the conversation that Santiago has with Claudia, where they speak about the traits or gifts that they took from their creators. Claudia says she took the ability to lie well from her maker, while Santiago says he took flight and mimicry. It's almost as if they're talking about the same person, which is, of course, Lestat the Leoncoeur. Now I know it's at this point you're wondering how the hell can it be Lestat? What indications even point towards him being Santiago's maker? Well, being the nerd I am, I deep dived into this whole season far beyond measurable reason, and I pulled out a theory that really made a lot of sense to me. I'm going to take some references from the book to support this theory in addition to what's happening on screen. So let's just go back to the start for Santiago, or at least everything we know about his origins. Santiago was once a human who went by the name of Francis. He didn't exactly have the best experiences during his human life and believed that becoming a vampire would be able to help him better himself and create a new identity. So, why the name change? Why the new persona? Because he was changed by someone considered the greatest actor to ever step foot in the Théâtre des Vampires, Lestat the Leoncoeur. Lestat was the master at being whoever he wanted to be, and he may have instilled that in Santiago. Lestat could have told him to create a new persona to complement his rebirth as a vampire. And that makes sense to me. Lestat could fly. Santiago could fly. Lestat could mimic. Santiago could mimic. Lestat could lie very well. Claudia could lie very well. Lestat had a very powerful mind block. Claudia had a very powerful mind block. As I said, it just feels like they're talking about the same person. You'll also remember from that conversation, Santiago told Claudia that his maker was in the tombs, that the maître put him there, and he deserved it. So let's take that information for a moment and go to the book. In the book, Lestat goes to Armand in the theatre. He arrives there in a pretty bad state. He's not fully recovered from what Claudia and Louis did to him. He's weak and probably at his lowest. Armand knows this. He won't help Lestat unless Lestat openly admits it was Claudia who tried to kill him. Obviously, it was Armand's opportunity to get rid of Claudia, so he took it. So this happens, I assume, off-screen in the TV series, in addition to Lestat needing time to heal. Don't forget, he was dumped into the river. He fed on reptiles and rats, barely gaining enough strength and nutrition from the blood. He had nowhere to live, was severely weakened, so Lestat was placed in the tombs to heal. Armand was the one who put him there, and yes, he did deserve to heal before the trial took place. He deserved it. It takes a very long time for vampires to heal in the Vampire Chronicles universe. They don't just recover rapidly overnight or in moments like other franchises. So everything Santiago said was technically true, but the context behind what he was saying had a hidden meaning. He was an actor, which means that the Coven knew the entire time, or very, very early on, who Claudia and Louis were, what they'd done. They always knew. It was all an act. They were actors at the end of the day. They lured Claudia in under false pretenses, made her live out her worst nightmare by being viewed as a little girl night after night on stage. They wrote My Baby Loves Windows as a mental torture for her. They purposely placed a portrait of Lestat in the theatre to trigger Claudia and Louis. Even Armand states more than once that Claudia won't be around for long. For weeks, Lestat and the Coven rehearsed the trial when Louis and Claudia were not around. That's why Santiago went to Louis and Claudia's apartment to find the final piece of evidence needed in order to successfully justify their guilt in the trial. Why else would they show up at the apartment looking for stuff? So basically, they can't really do anything until Lestat is ready and healthy enough, in addition to flawlessly rehearsing the trial before putting on the show. But as we know, they've already begun breaking Claudia with her own play. Santiago is actually frustrated he can't get to Louis, as Louis won't join the Coven and is also being protected by Armand. I think that scene where Santiago questions Armand through telekinesis on whether he'll do what must be done was an early indication to Louis being executed at the trial. I think it was already in place by then, but Armand decides to kill Louis himself with the fire gift to spare him from the brutality that would be the trial, but he relents when he begins to fall for Louis. So then that leaves the question of why the Coven allowed Claudia to join them. Obviously to have her swear by the 5 great laws, which gives them further justification to pass judgment on her breaking them. So why let Claudia feed on them in the final part of the ritual? Why share their blood with Claudia? Why share certain powers through blood sharing? It didn't matter. They were going to kill her anyway. It made no difference to Claudia's fate, but it lured her into a false sense of security. I think that's why this all ties to Lestat so well. The Coven knew from early on what they were going to do to Claudia and Louis, and after Armand lets Louis off with so much rule breaking, he finally did what he had to do by allowing the Coven to capture them. So guys, that's my take on Lestat being Santiago's maker, and also how the Coven knew the whole time what Louis and Claudia had done. I'll chat you all in the next video.